The podcast is back. Welcome to Tasler Guide Service. Join along as my guests and I dive into our outdoor adventures, share some laughs, and of course a few beers. A new episode will be released every other Friday at 5 a.m. I hope you guys have as much fun watching as we did making it. Welcome, guys. Another episode of Tasler Guide Service Podcast. At the end of the episodes, we always have the last cast where I kind of give my thanks. And I want to switch that up a little bit and do that at the beginning. First of all, I just want to thank Whisker Seeker Tackle. They outfitted my guide service. We're fishing with the best equipment and terminal tackle out there. So thanks for Whisker Seeker. Drastic Plastics, Scott Monroe. You know, he takes care of whatever I need. You know, he's got the best plastics in the Midwest, the best that I've used. You know, he's out of Wisconsin and a great guy. So if you guys are looking for some plastics, look up Drastic Plastics. JB's Fish Sauce, Corey Weaver, the Big Bass Master Classic soon-to-be champion. He's running the Pro Tour this year. So good luck, Corey, and thanks for putting out some great projects at JB's Fish Sauce, helping us out. And also, it wouldn't happen without River Certified. Thanks, Spencer. He's down south this weekend. He took a 10-day trip, and he's striper fishing today. I haven't got any pictures, so that's probably not a good sign. But he's striper fishing today, and then he's going to get on some cats tonight, and then just spend 10 days down south. So he's going to have a blast down there. So those are pretty much the guys that help me out. We're looking for more sponsors. If anybody, especially small businesses, you know, I'm a blue-collar guy. I'd rather help out a small guy. So if anybody's looking to get a shout-out on every podcast, every video, shoot me a message at taslerryan@hotmail.com. We'll talk details. You know, I'm pretty easy to get along with. I'm not looking to make $1 million here. I'm just looking to cover some expenses. So if anybody could help out, get a hold of me, and we will talk some business. Guess we are in a very small area. So I am looking for anybody who is wanting to come on the podcast. Of course, 1 million people want to go on the fishing videos. Those are called guide trips. Look me up.
Right.
But if anybody wants to come on the podcast, if you have some knowledge of a certain area, if you can just sit there and bullshit, if you want to drink beer and make fun of each other, I'm good with all three scenarios. So anybody that is in the local area, I'm in central Iowa, and wants to do a podcast, hit me up once again at taslerryan@hotmail.com. And also, if you are not in the central Iowa area, but want to set up a weekend where I come to you, everything's portable. I'll come to you, we'll fish for a weekend, we'll do a podcast, we'll make a video, we'll have a great time. If that sounds like anything you're interested in, once again, taslerryan@hotmail.com. So now we got a little business out of the way. Let's talk to our guests a little bit. So, Job, you've been on here a couple times.
Yes, I have.
So why don't you just kind of give us a rundown of who you are, what you're for?
My name's Joby Hoskinson. I live 7 miles away from where Ryan lives. And I'm a
loves the phrase game changer.
I did until that podcast. Now I don't even say it anymore.
It makes me cringe.
Right now, I'm pretty much in between season right now. I'm going through all my tackle, trying to get everything stocked back up, whether it's Whisker Seeker, Drastic Plastics. Checking a few areas out, seeing what the water's like, clarity-wise. But other than that,
What are you waiting on? Ice cats are hitting.
I kind of like another critter at this time of year.
You're a toothy guy?
I'm a toothy guy.
You missed it. February down in the metro area was hot for walleye.
I don't get invited to them things, though.
You just got to go. There is 30 guys on the same area where I was fishing, and everybody was catching fish but me.
Right. Oh, man.
I'm not a walleye guy. I don't have the nuance. I don't have it down because I've never done it.
See, that's how I feel about catfish. That's why I'm still going on my...
This is how you catfish, buddy.
Right. Five years into it, and I'm still looking for that one that'll just be like, okay, I feel like I got something here.
Walleye were hot, and then the water came up, and then they were not, and now they're starting to pick back up.
I see some pictures.
Yeah. So.
Everybody's bragging to me.
Oh, yeah.
But I still got, I lost a lot of hooks last year because of low water.
Yeah.
I was snagged up a lot, so I got a lot of remaking jigs. I got a little time yet before I'm ready to legit ready to go.
Which you're kind of running in your low time at work now, aren't you? You
We're
kind of got through
slowing
your
down
busy
big
season.
time too, so I can concentrate a little bit more on.
You don't go home just frazzled.
Right. Yeah, beat up.
That makes a big difference for sure.
Definitely.
What about you, John?
Work. About all I've done.
Well,
but-
introduce yourself, buddy.
Jon Hovick. Grew up in Central Iowa, Ames area. Moved over here. Met Ryan about 10 years ago. Novice fisherman. Hunt a lot. Haven't got any lines this year. I kind of wait for Ryan to tell me they're hitting, and then I start getting after it.
Then it's too late.
Yeah, it is. Before he was a big deal. Yeah, he used to share more information. But yeah, getting the bait tank ready to go. We hitting the riverbanks. Like you said, there's nothing better than sitting on the riverbank, having a few Shastas, waiting for the pole to tip over.
I went out one day and nailed 8 channel cat. Bang, 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 bang. Went out the next day. Well, that night it snowed 1.5 inches. Went out the next day and struggled to get 2.
Right.
You know, we're just in that limbo right now that sucks. I mean, I really hate this time of year, but I'm trying to get footage, out. So, it takes me 4 trips to make a 20-minute video, which eats up a lot of time.
At the same time, though, when you hit it, you got to take advantage of it, because
Yes.
that's what I've learned.
Yep.
You got a pretty small window there that right in spring when they started hitting like that.
Iowa
take
weather's
advantage.
the problem.
Iowa
Yeah.
weather is
Yep. Yeah, ice out channel cats can be on fire in certain conditions.
yeah.
And then the rest of the time, it just sucks.
Right.
Well,
You're either having the best trip you've ever had, or you're just having a normal trip. Where you're just
Giggling like little
shit.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one.
Yeah. There was times we had 4 rods out, and 3 out of the 4 were getting hit. But it's cold water, so it's not like they're hammering it. You know, they're just starting to taste
Still,
a little
those
bit.
first fish of the year, man, really get you fired up
Yeah.
for the rest of the season.
My nephew had a fight last Saturday, so I had a few people over for his fight party, and I cooked up some cold water channel cat. It was
and we actually
Not
have some
bad.
water this year, it looks like.
so far, yes. It shot up, and that was perfect just to wash everything downstream, get everything kind of refreshed and clean. But then that frost went out, and the ground just went,
Yep.
just sucked it up. So now it's down to below normal flow, but it's at least higher than it has
It was
been.
last summer, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably higher now than it has been for 3 years, but it's still below what we would call normal flow, let alone spring flow.
I'm just looking at my cricks for bait fish. I was like, in
They're
the
in
summer, they were completely dry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was scary. A lot of those creek beds weren't even muddy. They
Right.
were just rock solid. Yeah, I switched over to lakes,
Yeah,
because my
that's what
creeks weren't producing. They didn't have any water in them, so they couldn't have fish.
I may
so.
or may not have a little honey hole out at where I work that I can get all the bluegills I want.
Can I ask you
Now that you gave your bait spot away, don't tell them where you work.
yeah, right.
Well, we have very tight security around that
I
facility.
work in Ankeny.
When we had them freakish February water levels
Yeah.
and the ice broke up, would there be any chance that fish moved knowing the water level was up? Is there any chance of them big ice chunks hitting fish? Because
I'm
them
sure.
them big
Yeah.
blocks are just rolling
Yeah.
through there.
That main boat ramp south of town that everybody fishes, it looked like a freaking tornado one night. I went down there after dark, just checking it out, and there was full-size trees going about 30 mile an hour in a twister. It was insane. It looked like somebody just pulled the plug and the bathwater was going out, but there was full-size trees going whoop, whoop. But yeah, I mean, there's a chance.
The reason being, I had a buddy send me a picture of a flathead. When it all went down, it was up on an ice block. The bald eagles were eating off of it.
Really?
So I don't know, would he have moved somewhere shallow when that high water was up?
I doubt he was.
Chunk of ice took him out.
I was doubting he was coherent enough to move because that water was still so cold.
Yeah, I mean, it was froze.
Yeah.
And then it got broke up.
But he may have just been a winter kill, too.
Yeah.
He might have died during the winter, and now that it broke open, he washed up to shore, and they grabbed him. You know,
There could have been. It came up so fast and then dropped down so. It made me wonder, like, man, there's a lot of ice chunks coming down forcefully.
Yeah, but you got to remember the ice floats, too. So those fish are going to hug that
big
bottom.
Chunks ain't going to float.
Well, if they're going downstream, they are. If not, they're going to drag and swirl. And
that's what I was thinking.
Mother Nature is just crazy. It is amazing.
We've had a weird winter,
what they can do.
Yeah, what he's talking about there in February, that was bank high river action.
Twice.
And I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen this in 10 years.
Which, like I said, we needed it so freaking bad.
I know, but it was the wrong time of year in my eyes.
Yeah, but at least
It did flush some things
anything
out.
to flush it.
Clean it up a little bit.
And that's my favorite part about spring. It's almost like everything just starts over. Everything's new.
Fresh start.
So,
you bet. Is it high enough now for the fish to start swimming north?
No.
I know that's what we've kind of dealt with in the past. That Des Moines area seems to be a lot hotter because
it looks like it should be, but it's still shallow just because the water's so mucky.
Last winter, any fish that was up here couldn't get down there, so they were stuck here.
Yeah.
So the big fish, the flatheads and stuff, I doubt they're moving much yet, just because water temps are so freaking cold.
Well, that's what kind of scared me, is how low it was when we were going into winter.
Yeah.
On how much would actually survive.
Yeah, a couple of holes I fished last fall had, at least a dozen big flathead in it because I'd caught them at different times, and there was no way for them to get out.
Right.
So they were stuck in there, and it was only 7 foot deep. So I'm hoping the best for them.
Right.
I remember the last podcast we were on, I asked Spencer about this low water condition with freezing. I was hoping we didn't have any of that. I mean, we're lucky what we got now, but let alone if we have a winter kill, it'll really put a dampen on. Yeah,
and low water could make a winter kill pretty devastating.
Right.
Because they're all in one spot. But I don't know. I've been out quite a bit on the river, and I haven't seen any signs of anything.
That's because they all went downstream.
They could have. They could have. But I've even, been where our river dumps into the next river, and there's nothing down there. No. So
if they survive those holes, they're going to be hungry.
Yes. And
maybe
there's going to be more on the way if we get water.
Or they're
and
the
they
only
can
ones
come
left
up.
in the hole.
Yeah, right. If they ate the whole hole.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's just nature's way, but we usually do not have a large shad population around in our river. In the last 2 years, that shad population has exploded. So I'm sure that's just nature's way of saying, here you go, guys. We'll get through this.
We'll let you survive the winter.
Yeah. So I think that helped out a lot. That, and I saw a crap ton of 18-inch carp swimming last fall, too. So, I caught as many as I could for bait. But yeah, hopefully. And like I said, what I've seen from ice out till now, I mean, I was out 4 times last week, and I haven't seen any signs of any major winter kills.
That's the only one I seen was.
Anything could happen. A chemical spill, anything could wipe out a huge chunk of the population in low water because they're so confined. Or even one guy out there snagging. One guy finds where a hole is that has 50 fish in it, and he takes 15 of them out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, Job.
You're putting me in depression.
Well, let's get you out of it. You got a little work tournament going on at work.
Yeah.
How many guys are signed up? Is it like the biggest fish tournament like you used to do?
Yep. It's kind of just the same setup, but I wanted to do something a little bit different since I talked to Chris and his dad to go with Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, we already had the fishing tournament going on, But now that me and a buddy from work are going with you,
Yeah.
and Chris and Bob are going with Spencer.
A day apart.
Mind you not.
They're going the day before, like the 23rd, and we're going the 24th. So
I mean, I wish them luck, but I wish our luck just a little bit more.
yeah, I hope they get an 18 and we catch an 81.
I will never let Spencer live it down either.
No.
But anyway, we're all putting in $100 each person.
Yeah.
So money ain't really, $100 ain't really nothing in a bet.
But not just the four of you. Like there's more.
We have a couple other people, but they haven't said that they're in all the way
Yeah.
yet because they know we're going with some guided trips.
Well, tell them I'll take them out too.
Right. But we started just this little thing. We all like to hit the river. We all want to hang out and hit the river.
Yeah.
So we just spiced it up a little bit. Then it got a little bit spicier.
That makes it fun.
Right.
I enjoy it. I don't care if it's a game of checkers. If my buddy thinks he can beat me, well, F you. Bring it.
Yeah. Get it set up right now. So, yeah, we got that coming up. There's a few other trips me and a couple other buddies got. Like, we like to go up to South Dakota.
Yeah.
And catch
Who
perch and
doesn't?
walleyes. So
Is this just a catfish tournament or what?
with the one between us, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
But now it's captain involved
Sure.
in this, so it really made things more exciting. I got some trips planned this year for, kayak trips, river trips with you. Hopefully you and Spencer eventually down the line whenever you guys are free.
Good luck on
Right.
that shit.
Other than that, it's looking pretty good. I'm hoping the water levels will stay where they're at, but I'd like to see them 2 foot higher, to be honest with you.
Oh, come June, I want them at the bank level. That's the funnest fishing.
You're reaching after what we had last year, though.
Yeah. But if it's bank high in June when they're pre-spawning, you guys get ready to smile because it's gonna be a hell of a time.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. What about you, John? What you got coming up? Got anything planned this summer?
No.
You're a working machine,
I
though.
was on-
You freaking
yeah,
work all the
that's what-
freaking time.
That's what being the manager is all about.
Yeah.
But no, I'm heading down south this weekend.
Are you?
Go down to Branson.
Oh,
So
hell
I'll
yeah.
probably get some lines wet there. See mom and dad. Hopefully this doesn't air before that because
It'll be Friday.
it's a surprise.
Ruin the surprise.
I'll be down Thursday. I'm
Okay,
leaving
Friday at 5
Thursday.
a.m. This will
Yes.
come out. So
So no, unfortunately we had
I'll block them.
we had a death in the family, but
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
But I love it down there. I'll probably throw some lines in Lake Table Rock, see what
Yeah.
I can do. I've yet to ever catch a blue, and that's one of my
It should be pretty hot down there by now.
That's one
you
I've
know?
tried for the last several years and just haven't got lucky yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But
Cut shad, cut skipjack. They should be close to spawning if they're not down there now.
Right.
So,
optimistic.
yeah.
So
Good territory, though, too.
oh yeah.
Beautiful
Well,
territory.
mom brags about how it's 70 degrees down there and everything. So
Oh, yeah.
I'll be out on the bank somewhere for sure for a few days.
Yeah, my parents used to go down to southern Texas in the winter and always tell you, oh, it's only 82. Shut the hell up.
Right.
You friggin' shoveling snow.
34 here. but
40-mile-an-hour winds. You're like, God damn it.
Chucking
yeah.
snowballs.
I don't know why we live in Iowa. It's so stupid. I don't get it.
I'll always just call my brother up in Fargo if I want to feel better about our weather here. So, yeah, they still got feet of snow up there.
Oh, I bet.
No, thank you.
They got some big channel cat, though. That Red
See?
River up there
Yep,
is
that's what.
great.
See, I like Iowa. We might be a little bit different in that, just in the fishing part, but the hunting
The hunting.
is
Yeah.
my bread and butter, man. Like it's.
And I just don't hunt a lot. I trap.
Well, have you seen what this guy can kill?
Yeah.
Good grief. But, yeah, I've seen pictures, bud.
a sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while.
If you put yourself in the right spot at the right time, anything could happen.
It's just like you're trapping. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of
Yep.
patience. You
A
got
lot
to be
of scouting.
smart. Right. Running trail cameras. I run 9 trail cameras every year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's...
By the end of the year, you run 7 because people steal them.
Or they just they're old enough, they get wore out.
Right.
Changing batteries, changing cards. There's just a lot to it. But
Yes.
that's something that I'm passionate about both. And Iowa does kind of on the lower end of the fishing department in most states that we fish at. The hunting, it's oh.
Yeah, we got monster whitetails. We got a good pheasant population back now. You know, we got ungodly coyote population. If anybody wants to shoot coyotes, come to Iowa and take them out. You know,
Well, I was kind of wondering about that because this year I'm not a spring chicken, but I've seen more pheasants this spring than I've ever seen.
And I think it goes back to the last 3 springs being dry. You know, all those nests didn't wash out like they normally do.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, are we doing anything to the coyotes? Because like I said, it's nothing to see 100 pheasants.
The population in about every animal department or bird department has actually rose to me in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And
So-
that's dry springs will do that. You know, when you take that I don't know what the mortality rate is from drowning out nests, but it's high.
Yeah.
You know, because they're upland birds that lay on the ground. You know,
And what you do for a side business or side gig or hobby, you're trapping, that helps them out too just as much.
Absolutely.
Raccoons will dig
it
into them
definitely
nests
does. Yeah.
every time they run
Skunks,
into one.
possums.
Skunks,
Yeah.
and even possums will go after eggs. So
Yeah, anything that's a predator, if you can take them out, then the numbers of the prey are going to increase to a certain extent. You know, it's all on a carrying capacity and, you know, an equal balance, but you know, you gotta keep those predators' numbers low if you want that game to survive.
I thought it was
sure.
I thought it was pretty unique this spring. I was driving around. I was driving around after shotgun season. You'll see the piles of 100 deer or whatever, and I was actually seeing more pheasants than I was deer, and I was still seeing in a 45-minute drive home from work. It's only 10 minutes, but I would easily see 400 deer, in the fields and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
especially that area.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd probably see 600 freaking pheasants, and I'm just like, holy cow. And half of them would be roosters.
And there is something to natural selection that when the populations do rise, you do see more males being born than females. That's kind of nature's way of limiting the growth potential. Because if you have a bunch of females, they can reproduce. You have a bunch of males, only the females can give offspring. So, you know, it slows the growth rate.
I like seeing them roosters anyway. The colors of them and stuff out in
Yeah.
that snow.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah, until they jump up at your feet and you shit yourself a little bit.
Or as many as you've been seeing, they fly across the road and it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've had several opportunities. I was like, do I lay off or step down?
Yeah. Well, they'll ruin a windshield bigger than shit.
Yeah,
You
right
know,
away.
my girlfriend's daughter hit one, like her second time driving ever, and just shattered the whole freaking windshield.
crap
Oh,
out
yeah.
of her.
Yeah, she was done. Done.
Oh, man.
But it was better than hitting a deer, I promise you that.
Right.
Let's talk kayak fishing. We all have kayaks. We all love it. John, you bought mine,
I
my
bought
12-footer.
yours. Yep. It still holds me above water, so that's good.
Yeah. Talk us about some of your kayak trips. I mean, you found a stretch of river that you really like.
Yeah, I'm not nearly into as much fishing out of the kayak. I'm kind of a bigger guy, so I'm not real stable on that. First time I tried to stand in it, I don't stand in it anymore.
I rarely stand in the kayak either.
But no, it's very, it opened up my world on finding new places for sure.
Yes.
I
Not
will-
fishing the same 3 spots all the time.
Correct. And where you can, just get out of the truck and fish. Definitely on taking your gear upstream or whatever. I think I've seen you float by me before too, Joby. But all your
He was hiding in the weeds, so he didn't find a
fancy
spot.
stuff, but
That's what everybody says when they see my kayak. Oh, you're fancy stuff.
all this
There ain't nothing fancy.
stuff.
When
I
you
got
love
stickers
something-
on it.
When you love something, you make it a priority. That's all there is to it.
But no, just to go upstream like a mile where nobody else goes, and
It makes a huge difference.
Find a nice sandbar and just sit there all night.
That's the adventure of it.
Yeah,
you're getting away from
just
where
the peace
everybody
of
else
it.
can
Yeah.
get.
Well, this is a hole that nobody else is fishing, and
Heck yeah.
yeah, and it's opened up a whole new world, and I love it. I love it. I got to be careful on how many Shastas I have when I come back, but
Yeah.
in the pitch black at 2 a.m, but
That's why I love camping out there.
Me too.
You forget about time. If I got to be at work at 7, I usually set my alarm for 4, paddle in, take a shower, go to work. It just works out.
it's
Perfect.
only, I think it's been 2 or 3 years since I bought that from you. And I think there's only been one time that I kind of waited a little too long as the storm was rolling in that I was like, oh no.
Sometimes that's the best fishing, though.
Could not
Yeah,
even-
right.
It is. I've had lights out nights when frickin' lightning's hitting, and
I tried to make it back to the
them up.
truck, and I just, you can't see.
If you got the proper rain gear,
That's
if
true.
you got rain gear,
But
I should say.
I'm not a fancy fisherman, so I don't have all.
Oh, here we go. Fancy fish.
I got a pop can and some string.
But no, it's a blast. I love it. It's my time away from work that I can just relax and no signal on the cell phone. And
Yeah.
Clear your mind is what
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
And that is one thing I love about this part of Iowa that we live in is when the river's at normal level or lower, you can't get a boat to 90% of it. You can't.
Right.
So if you want to go fishing, either you walk through all the burrs, all the thistles,
Trying to carry all your
Yeah.
crap. Yep.
or you jump on a kayak.
There was times with my fancy kayak that it was weighted down enough where I had to drag it across spots.
Well, that's when I turn around and go to the last sandbar I went by.
Can't, because that spot that's been burnt in my head all week is I got to get to it.
Especially the last couple of years, there's been plenty of those spots where I'm hitting bottom, and it's like, come on.
So last summer was probably your first time like adventuring, like setting a goal, like I'm going to find this new spot and I'm going to catch flathead.
Yep.
Tell us about it. Tell us like what you went through and your final results.
Well, it was one of the pull-offs where I normally went and then got the kayak, so I went upstream and found a good stretch. I've talked to maybe a friend or two on what ideal conditions look like. I mean, I've fished all my life, so I know a deep bank in a hole, but I found a good one. And, I don't know, spent many nights out there. Didn't catch any channels. I ended up catching half a dozen flatheads. I think my largest one was about 30 pounds.
Yeah, it was a good one.
And no, it was by far the biggest one I'd ever caught before, so I was tickled pink.
Hell yeah.
So
And when you work that hard and set that goal and you achieve it, that's freaking sweet. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it's all. And it doesn't matter what you're doing.
well, the first 2 trips, I think all I got is a soft shell both times.
But I think you were fishing like in the deep part of it, and then we
Yep.
talked and
Yeah, I
we
sent you
talked
pictures
about
and
plans.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then you
So-
started.
It did all come together. I'm not telling you where it is, Joby.
It's all right.
We'll just put a GPS in your kayak.
But yes,
It's all right.
talk about
I'll just remember when I see, I'll be like, oh.
to your point, Ryan. Talk about validation when it was all said and done. I mean, to pull in a real nice one, it makes all those other nights worth it. Which I could sit out there all night and not catch a thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you put it all together, boy, that feels good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like what you were getting at. It's like every time when you go to do something for your first time, like you're setting your traps or me going bow hunting, you get that first critter in the trap.
Yeah.
Or you see the eyeballs from your tree stand of the buck you want. It's like,
It's coming
It's
together.
coming, yeah.
Yep.
Everything was worth it.
Yeah.
Until I get that first flathead bite on a new spot that I know he's right there, and I get that bite and I whiff it, and I'm like, "Ah!"
like me messing with my arrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's going to take me
Gut
2
wrencher.
more weeks to get that same feeling. Yeah.
Seeing the arrow sticking in the tree right next to it. Yeah.
had that happen.
I've been there, Joe. I've been there.
Those trees are tough to chew, but it's all right.
Tough to get your broadhead back out, too.
Right.
So you got your fancy kayak. Just tell us your setup. You got a sweet ride.
I got a 12-foot, 7-inch bona fide kayak I got from Litterdale, Iowa at Summerfield Outfitters.
Yeah.
I did a lot of research looking into it, being able to carry the capacity that I want, be stable as I want, and I could still stand up it. Like, I could stand on the side of mine and piss off side of it. I've always been this guy, if I'm getting into something, I want to get not the best, but something close that I can...
That you're not going to regret.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So I went into it with that kind of mentality, and when we went there to look at them, I'm a sucker for camo, so I got a green kayak with a camo seat. Take the plastic off or something, they put a knife blade down the side of it, so I pointed it out, and I got a considerable amount of money off of it, so it really helped that much more. But the thing I like about
it
our
takes
kayaks,
in water like a son of a bitch. But
right?
Minor things.
The thing I like about this kayak is it's got a dry pod in the center of it. You can lift up and out. So I got my fish finder hooked to it. So when I'm done for the night, I can pull that whole dry pod out. My fish finder's mounted to it. My transducer's mounted to it. Put it in my truck. Put it in the building where I'm staying.
easy as that. Yeah.
No one can take it. My boat, whatever. You ain't got my fish finder or all my gear.
Yeah.
The boat, I can get another boat.
Yeah. And just weather-wise and stuff, that's nice. You know, a storm's coming in, you can just grab it. You don't have to worry about it getting ruined.
Right. My batteries
Yeah.
are both in there. The 2 batteries I got are lithium, so I can run a whole weekend with my fish finder right between my legs.
Hell yeah.
And I thought, man, how am I going to get to a lake with some wind and be able to hold myself where I want to? My buddies still think I'm nuts, so I went ahead, fabricated my own bracket, and mounted a iPilot trolling motor on the front of it.
Yeah.
So I can go park anywhere on the lake and beep and just sit right
Did
where
I
I want
say
to.
fancy or what?
I use an anchor.
good luck.
I don't know about you.
In the river and stuff, you can, but
Well, I wouldn't use an anchor in the river. On the lakes is where I use anchors.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I'd never.
You hit lakes more than rivers, or
it's kind of
50-50?
both. Yeah. We'll hit a few more lakes this year. We're trying to find spots in South Dakota where we can catch them in the spring and then come back in the winter and have a good idea of the lake that we're going to try to go back to in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We always take a yearly trip in the winter. It'll be our 11th year as a group.
Oh, yeah.
So
And it's a big group.
it's a fun group.
Yeah,
it's
good.
a wild group.
Yeah, it's a good
But
time.
It's something that I got into, and I'm just completely hooked.
Yeah.
Like I'm even talking about with Ryan a Garmin LiveScope, trying to sell my fish finder just so I can have that next edge
Yeah.
on something else.
I just sold my river boat that I had before I bought my guide boat. I just sold my river boat,
You're welcome.
and that money's going to a live scope. That's if I'm gonna guide on the ice, I gotta have one. That's all there is to it. Last year I struggled a little bit because I didn't have it. So
Well, talking with you and Spencer too, it's the investment's there. You gotta just take it.
yeah, it's either this year or next year. Type mentality is what I'm looking at. So the sooner the better.
depends on what kind of sponsors you get.
That is true. If Garmin wants to hook me up,
Right.
anybody with a hookup to Garmin that listens to our show.
No, that's cool. No, I envy all your fancy stuff.
It is nice. I mean, I feel comfortable enough in it wherever position I'm in. Like, I don't take the trolling motor with me on the river, obviously.
Yeah.
I got those Yak Attack sticks or poles that are like 7-footers that I can stab in the bank or in the sand. Even if I'm in 4 foot of water, I can still position myself where I want. I like going the river just because of the part of getting your buddies, getting on a sandbar, getting your line in the water, and then it's talk shit till somebody catches a fish.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm in the best spot. You're all talking back and forth. It just the camaraderie is amazing.
Yeah. For sure.
A lot better than boating, I think, because you enjoy the ride there more. You can talk shit the whole way down there.
Well, of course you do if you have an electric motor and everything.
I don't take it in the river.
My fat ass is paddling the whole way upstream.
Well, when you have more than one person, you have a takeout point and a put-in point.
Right.
Just make sure your put-in's upstream.
Right,
you just float down.
That's the part I like. Just free float and just go.
Yeah. Just look around.
It's like therapy.
I didn't notice that log coming out of the water there. And you pick up a lot of spots. Where on a boat, you're just kind of trying to get to where you're going. It's a lot faster paced.
And that's where I'd say I've ventured more than I'm comfortable with, because I'm watching videos of you guys floating into spots that I would have overlooked my first couple years.
Yeah.
And now, like the first spot I did 2 years ago, we dropped in, floated 3/4 of a mile, and I'm on the front of this big brush pile. And I have one cast out in front of me, kind of on the current seam, and right off the left side of my boat, I just had that 7-footer.
Little ditty pull.
Straight down. And it hits that one. There's 6 foot of line out. I'm thinking, man, this is going to get real quick. Thump. And I look over at my buddy. He's behind me. And he's like, I see the rod. And I start to grab it. Well, I got Scotty rod holders.
Yeah.
So I kind of fight them grips coming out of them.
Yeah, that sucks.
It kind of put me in a pinch because as soon as he whoop and that rod went down 6 inches, he's gone.
Yeah.
In the water, I can't get my rod out.
Yep.
I'm thinking, I'm going to tip over in front of this brush pile. But it was that single rush. It was like a 15-pounder or something. But with 5-6 foot of line, it is an intense thing to have happen when you're in a spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and for that reason alone, I switched. Berkeley has these that has like a Z-shaped wire that you literally just set your rod in and it self-locks. So you just set it down and then you pick it straight up. Like no matter how much tension's on the tip, you can pick it on up and down.
What's it called?
I don't know. It's
made by
Berkeley makes it.
I think Scotty makes them too, because my buddy Joe got them for his.
Possibly.
It's a Z wire.
Yeah.
Like you can literally
Really?
one hand just up in and out.
That's for my kayak, that's the only rod holder I'll ever use. Because I've had the same situation where, especially blue cats, they bury the rod. You can't get the goddamn rod out of it. So
it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So that's what, as soon as that incident happened 2 years ago, it's put me in my drive just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking for that one that's
that
gonna
40
rip
that
that
does the
drag,
same thing. Yeah.
and give me. I want to be able to talk to it. Get out of that brush. Get off that. I want to feel that intensity.
Yeah.
And that still amazes me because I watch these guys' videos and stuff. How that big ass fish can be like right there.
Yeah.
And you're parked right here. And it can
3
be
foot of water
right there.
will hide a 50 all day long.
Like, what the hell? I was like, I always feel like I need to get away from my boat and stuff, but they'll hunker down right there.
And that's why I love kayaks. You can just belly right up there. With a motor, chances are that fish is going to push back up into the brush pile and he'll never eat. You just glide right up, tie off. It's on.
There is some videos of you and Spencer that I watched that frustrate me. Because you guys were
there's some that frustrate me making them.
You were the back of your kayaks were in some taller grass.
Yeah.
It was a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I think. And I was like, why would they stop there? Like, what?
Because
I want to see.
It was about 6 inches deep, and then it dropped to like 12 foot. And we were sitting in about 5 foot. And right about dark, here they come.
Yeah.
They come out of that deep hole, and it was pre-spawn, so they were running upriver, and we were upriver from that deep hole in about 5 foot, and then it got past us was about 6 inches, so you couldn't get there by boat, and we were the only pressure they had. It was a good night.
It was a fun night by the video.
Right. That's what that spot I was talking about that I had found and stuff. It was like a 5-foot drop off.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah. Sandbar drop-offs right off the point of the sandbar is one of your best flathead spots. It could be 3 foot, could be 7 foot. But sooner or later, there's going to be a big boy that comes right there because he eats there.
Yep.
That's where the bait sits.
Funny story that you're bringing that up. There was 3 of us.
We'll see how funny this is.
Right.
with your shallow water response.
Yeah.
There's 3 of us fishing. 5 poles are in deeper water. The buddy in the middle reels one up. He's like, "Here, I'll reel mine up, whether he knows how to fish or not." He reeled it up to where it was in, like, I walked out to where kind of it was, and it was only knee deep. And it was the biggest fish of the night.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially early in the mornings. You know, they'll come out of the deep holes. You know, either they'll run downstream or they'll run upstream. Then they'll circle back around.
It was about 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I use when I'm out there at that time, I'll hear the bait fish just going nuts, and one's coming through.
Yep.
They'll be just tearing up the water.
Yeah.
It was cool to experience.
That's what's cool about shad in water, because you know where the fish are hunting. Because those shad, they don't stick around.
Yeah,
they're bailing out of the water.
Go into panic mode. Make a ruckus.
That's right. So springtime is almost upon us. It's flirting with us. I think it's supposed to be 50s this weekend. I can't wait. I'm going to get out all weekend. Our last 3 springs have sucked. You know, springtime for me is ice out channel cats. Then we go to morel mushrooms, and then, you know, some walleye about the same time as morels, and then flathead start shortly after. It's been so frickin' dry that I barely have walleye fished because we have to travel so much. And then mushrooms have been horrible the last 2-3 years. So what are some predictions about this spring? You know, we talked about we got a little water. We got our temps kind of
Circling around.
circling. You know, our nighttime temps are just getting to where it's not going to freeze every night. It's not going to be below freezing every night. So some things are going to start happening here shortly. What are you guys, first of all, not only predictions, but what are you most looking forward to in the next month, let's say?
I usually go after mushrooms. I like getting out there. That's just like shed hunting. So
Yeah.
I usually, from past experience, I used to turkey hunt every year, and about 2nd or 3rd week of April is usually when they start popping pretty good.
Yeah.
In my experience. So
It may be a little bit later than that this
Yeah,
year.
I think it
Yeah,
might
because
be.
it's almost April now, and we haven't hardly
Right.
any, nothing's budding.
nothing's, well, yeah, there's no green anywhere.
Yeah.
So, but no, just when the crappie start spawning and bluegill start spawning is when the mushrooms usually start popping in my experience.
And that makes
but,
a hell of a meal.
yeah. So no, I'll be out in the woods.
Hell yeah.
I still want to try to take advantage of the channel cat bite,
Yeah.
but once the mushrooms, once I start seeing the reports down south, I'll start getting a little excited.
Yeah, what is that mushroom blog or whatever that's on the internet every year? It shows, like, people show their findings, and they have like a receipt. It says, you know, Tennessee, this date. And,
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
It's kind of weird how they got that all set up.
but I use it to track, you know, and when
State to state.
As
when
they're
they
coming.
start
Right,
find them in northern Missouri, it's usually 2 weeks, and
Yep.
we can start finding the little grays here.
Yep, I got some family down in southern Iowa that I'll kind of,
Go down and visit.
well, I'll at least use them as a
Starter
resource.
kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Hey, we finding them yet down there? And yeah, and
Okay.
to your point, then
About
yeah.
2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
My agenda right now is trying to get some jigs made, get them powder coated, different colors that I like.
So you
And
make
then-
all of them yourself?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I buy all the hooks. I got a couple jig molds,
Fancy.
powder coat them, and then I put them in. It's like a toaster oven. I
Really?
hang all the hooks on the top rack and
And it bakes them.
cook them that
Yeah.
way. So any little powder, any drip that you got, it hardens it and whatever's left will either drip or turn into hard coat paint.
Oh yeah.
So I cook them to like a 400 degrees for like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then it hardens them up a little bit. So when I'm walleye fishing is in the decent walleye areas with rocks, you're banging off rocks all the time.
Yeah.
So it's certain colors work good, certain colors don't. I play a lot with it.
Do you think color makes that much difference?
To me, it's fluorescent yellow.
Yeah. Is that just a confidence thing, or you've seen results?
Multiple people.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of a favorite color. Jig-wise, I'm all stocked up with Drastic Plastic, so I'm excited this year. I don't know what I got.
Certified series?
Yeah, certified
Hell
series. Yeah. I got like 2 or 3 packs of every color.
Yeah.
I'm ready to try them out. I really like the way they swim.
Yeah, I went to Johnson's Bait and Tackle in February when I went down to the metro area and picked up a new supply. So
I'm stoked about that too. So last year he was gracious enough with me and sent me a Zampler pack.
Scott's a stud. He's
Scott
a good
Monroe
dude, man.
Just from talking with him on Facebook Messenger, me and him just go back and forth. He's a really good dude.
And he's so freaking busy. Like, he builds cabinets. He's a one-off cabinet maker. Like, he does them by spec. He's the leader of like these bass tournaments. And then he does the plastics out of his garage. And I mean, I don't know he ever sleeps.
Local?
Out of Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He's out of Wisconsin. We went over and fished with him once last year.
Okay.
So I don't know how that guy sleeps, but he's a stud. And he's, like you say, he still takes time to talk to people who want to talk.
And just talk to me about, what am I looking for? Give me the direction. This is the fish I'm going for. And he says anything river certified style, man. It's what you need. And he hooked me up.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing it right. And this winter, it looked like he had show after show after show that he was going to. So can't wish anything but the best for that guy.
I agree. So that's where I'm at. I'll probably start hitting walleyes now. There's certain things I like to see when I go to the river. I mean, I'm sure they probably are hitting in certain spots.
Oh, yeah.
But as of right now, I'll hit some walleye spots. I got to go get my deer head down at New Sharon, where I took it to the taxidermist. And
how many heads you got on the wall now?
I got 4.
That's what I thought.
4 and 3 with my bow.
And they're studs.
Smallest one's 166. I'll say that.
Freaking studs.
It takes a lot of time, though. A lot
does.
of people don't think about it. That I got 22 years invested and only got 4 wall mounters.
Yeah.
There's certain ways I like to hunt, like you do fishing. You want the biggest and the best every time you go out. It's the same.
And you passed on him for 3 years.
I got a lot of intel of him, and he spilt the beans this fall, man. And 3 days later, is the same front coming in.
And it's amazing how you can pattern natural resources like that, no matter what they are.
Right.
They're going to act similar in similar situations.
Yes. Just like with fishing, you got certain weather fronts and certain things you want to see and do, and then that. Hey.
And the flow and, the moon phase.
Oh, that plays a big part in it.
Yeah.
You look at all that stuff?
Yeah.
I just go out when I got time.
Yeah.
I blame it on full moon and stuff like that when I don't catch nothing, but I don't really.
There's a lot of things I look into: weather, barometric pressure. I mean, when you come in the fishing world and the hunting world, you kind of got to rely on weather.
I started looking at pressures this year for hunting for the first time. That
dynamite
makes huge.
Yeah. I was like, I'm ashamed of myself, but I started looking at it.
But that's where I'm at. Walleye fishing. And then I'll hear say, soon as I got a few buddies that are really good to me.
Yeah.
As soon as they start finding some little morels, then I'll bounce out when I find a spot,
I'm the guy that's out a month early every freaking year. And I just love being out there. I'll go out there and turn leaves over and I don't expect to find anything, but I'll walk until I drink a 6-pack, and I'll go home. 2 days later, I'll do the same thing. Pretty soon, I'm going to find them.
But it's yeah, right. It's just so different because this month has just been detrimental to anything that we want to get in the springtime.
Yeah, it definitely set us back a little bit where it was 56 degrees one day, then it snowed 6 inches the next day.
Right.
You guys saw my four-wheeler sitting out. Me and the kids Sunday. Saturday was 56. Sunday, we put the sled on the four-wheeler and we're pulling around for 4 hours.
At noon, you had 5 inches of snow to ride on.
Yeah. And then it
crazy.
all melted the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even bother scooping anything. I said, that's going to be gone.
Yeah, Mother Nature will keep you on your toes, that's for sure.
So that's where I'm at. Where are you at with it?
I am looking forward. I've been on Channel Cat for about 2 weeks now, and I'm going to keep on that. I want to start. I got some good early crappie spots. I'm going to start nailing some crappie, put out a couple crappie videos, eat some crappie. Looking forward to that.
Right.
And then once morels kick up, morels go, and then you start hunting asparagus a little bit, and then next thing you know, it's flathead time. About mid-May. Bring on mid-May. Cannot wait.
Me neither. Fishing tournament time.
Yeah, hopefully the weather straightens out by mid-April so we can get a good constant.
That's not that far away, bud.
It's not. But 2 years ago, I caught a 44 on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th.
That'd be awesome.
So most guys were out at the bar. I was on the riverbank. So you just got to put in your time, and sometimes
Priorities.
it works out. You've talked about making your lures and stuff, or your jigs and stuff, but what are other things that you do that's fishing related when you can't fish?
I restring my poles.
Yeah.
Go through inventory, all the above. I mean, I just gear up and wait.
I've got to redo all my Channel Cat rods because I've just been going nonstop the last 2 weeks. I've been putting 4 or 5 days a week in. It's time for me to take them apart and redo everything because, they get ragged.
Get them freshened
Yeah,
up,
they
right.
get ragged.
Usually redo the filtration system on the live well or
Yeah.
whatever.
Live well.
Yeah. Get that pulled out, cleaned out, and start getting. As of now, I haven't done that because I was like, shit, it's probably gonna freeze.
I know.
I was like,
I haven't even pulled my boat out yet because who knows what next week's going to bring.
But I think the next couple of weeks here will be hopefully over the hump of the freezing nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's looking like it. The 10-day looks pretty good.
Probably get geared up and get plenty of bait and start going and get some channels.
The crappie's got to be sneaking right in there somewhere. though.
They got it. Yeah, they got it.
Especially in some of the shallow lakes that we got around here.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit warmer than the
So, yeah, one of our local lake out here, I did notice just yesterday that there was like 8 people fishing. And I was like, that's the most people I've seen fishing that place in a long time.
rest. It's 'cause
A week and a half ago, it was still froze. Because 2 years ago, there was a huge shad kill. So I was going to go, with Channel Cat, and I was going to go pick up some dead shad. And, anything that was fresh, I was going to keep and freeze. It was still froze a week and a half ago. I was like, what in the hell?
Now that little bay right there, there was people lined up around that thing. So made me wonder something's got them there.
Yeah, it's the shallow depth, so the water warms up a little bit quicker than a lot of other lakes that we got.
Because they don't just sit there and fish for very long if they're not biting. No. So
Yeah.
caught my attention anyway.
I would say for me, I'm going to probably be moving to this town. Hopefully. I got a rental spotted. I don't even want to mess with my live well or anything, but stock-wise, I've gotten all my jig and stuff set up besides my jig molds for my jig and setups. River-wise, I think I'm pretty good. I need to make maybe some extra leader lines when I'm on the river. I don't like to try to make one up. I like to have one.
Yep.
Yep.
So much quicker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, I got everything else stocked up. Haven't got the kayak out yet, so I'm fired up getting that ready to go. But
Yeah.
To your point about the way the river's been the last couple of years, yeah, I usually have a half a dozen leaders ready to roll because I usually get a couple of good snags.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just part of it. If you're not getting snags, you're not fishing the right spots. That's all there is to it. You're not going to catch the big ones.
what about you? How you getting up?
This weekend, I don't have kids, so every other weekend is my go weekends. So I get everything caught up that I've been thinking about for 2 weeks. And this weekend is get my boat out, get it starting to get ready. I'm going to try and move the console clear up to the front deck so it gives a lot more space in the back. And then I got to get my bait tanks up and going. You know, I've caught a lot of creek chubs already, but I haven't even kept them in my bait tank. I just go and catch 4 or 5, go catch channel cat, you know, because it's on the way, and they're biting so good right now that it takes 5 minutes to catch 5.
Are you doing cut or live?
Cut.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
what I figured early season.
Yeah,
Cut.
about the size of your thumb. Nice little pieces.
Decent channel cats too.
A couple of them. A lot of them were little eaters, but
Still
I've got a
fun.
couple that were
This time of
pushing
year.
5 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about for guiding and stuff? What you got a packed summer, or what do you got going on?
I've got like 18 trips booked, but I've got plenty more room. You know, I would really, I don't have enough to be a full-time guide. So I'm going to keep being an electrician and guide whenever I get guide trips. So if anybody's looking for a guide trip, get a hold of me at taslerryan@hotmail.com. Or you jump on Facebook, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Just get a hold of me and let's go out and catch some fish for sure.
Are they mostly just weekends?
I have about half and half during the week and weekends. You know, because having my kids every other weekend,
Sure.
half my weekends are full already.
Sure.
So I think
Same
I've
with
got
mine.
one weekend left in June. I think I've got one weekend left in August. And I think I have 2 open in September. And weekdays, I've got 5 or 6 openings yet. But like the weekdays, I'll take off early from work. I'll run my guide trip. I'll sleep on the boat. And I'll get up and go to work the next day. You know, I just,
You're a machine.
well, you got
I
to,
couldn't do that.
He does that, and here I am. I put vacation time on.
Right.
Take the day off. I'm going fishing with him, and then the next 2 days because I might want to keep fishing.
well, it's all about sacrifice. If you want something to work, you got to earn it. That's all there is to it. Nothing's going to be given to you. So I wish I could just say screw it and just be a fishing guide, but the logistics aren't there yet. So I'm going to sacrifice again.
Still pretty green yet. Just give her a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to enjoy the ride because it's a blast. I absolutely love it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't even care what happens. Long as my buddy Billy catches one, that's going to be the highlight of the night.
I'll do everything I can. I promise you.
Long as Billy catches one and we win this fishing tournament,
That's right.
I'm part of that, so I can talk as much shit as I want to.
That's right.
Get a year of bragging rights. Well, I suppose especially with the guiding, there's the people you get to meet and
Yeah.
conversations and
and
stuff like that.
and most of
but-
my guiding trips have been out of state people. You know,
Really?
I really prefer it that way. I don't want to take local people to the local spots just for the fact that they just paid $600 to get my spot. You
right,
know,
right.
where I'd rather take out of state people or out of people that have to drive a while. Then I can take them to A spots. I don't have to worry about them coming back. If they do, they come back once a year.
Well,
you know?
they're not going to remember how to get there.
There's a benefit to that, though, because whatever state they come from, they might have some good spots where they can go take,
You've
you know,
made
hey,
that-
Ryan,
made that
why don't you come down here?
relationship,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made
And
that
that's why I'd
connection.
love, you know, traveling to do podcasts. You know, go to one of our listeners and, you know, go fishing with them, do a podcast, make a video, you know, have a blast and just spend the weekend, you know,
Different
working
area.
on my business, but also meeting new people and fishing a new spot.
New
you know?
spots, absolutely. No, that sounds like it'd be a hell of a time.
It'd be fun time.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully we get some people reaching out because I'd love to set some of those up. So instead of running a guide trip on that weekend, I'll just jump in the truck.
Hey, come down here. You can shack up with us. We'll go hit the local river down here. You know, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could run a guide trip and do a podcast, have a weekend of it.
It's kind of like with all of our trips going up South Dakota, North Dakota, a couple buddies in the group stay affiliated with people that we've met up there.
Yeah.
So they're locals, if they can give us, hey, they're hitting here or they're hitting there. Or this is where we're going to be.
Word at the bar is.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Makes a big difference.
Local
huge.
intel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those, with my experience in South Dakota, North Dakota, they're all friendly too.
Yeah.
That's
Like
their main export is
Yes,
outdoors.
moneymaker.
Yes. That's their main commodity.
Funny story. Me and Barry, that you went to college with.
Oh, Barry Koster. What a stud that guy is.
Me and him went
I
up
love that guy.
one of our first fishing trips, and we got up to where we wanted to be, and we seen this bar with a bunch of vehicles parked down below the bar. And we're like, oh, there's the parking lot, We go pulling down there. We're driving around on the lake. We're freaking out. Like, is it deep enough? Is the ice going to break? Blah, blah. It was a parking lot out on this lake.
Oh, yeah.
So we thought it was the actual parking lot. We're driving around, and then we're going out to a spot, and there's no snow, and it's clear black ice. So it looks like it's open
water.
Sure.
I'm like, hey, let me get out and walk up to this.
Yeah.
And we didn't go up prepared for Minnesota ice. We had hand auger, so we had to take turns drilling holes.
Right.
Greenhorn is all can get out, but it was a trip that I laughed so much by greenhorn mistakes that I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's the only way you learn, truthfully.
Right.
Unless you go with someone who knows.
So we went and we parked and went in and tried to talk to the locals, and they found out we were from Iowa, and they would not say a word.
Really?
Nothing.
I'm sure I buried it and beat the shit out of
Like cold shouldered us, man, and just like,
I'm going to set the
Outsiders.
picture of Barry Koster. He's probably 5'7", 5'8".
he's a tad bit taller than me.
Is he?
Yep.
And 280, 320-ish. And a freaking beast. Like his side-to-side movements make guys my size go, what the hell just happened? In high school, he would wrestle heavyweight and take these guys that were a foot taller than him and throw them, and their feet would touch the freaking lights, and the whole gym, all you'd hear is boom. You're like, oh, Koster's on the mat. He is a freaking stud.
When we all worked together down at this glazing company down in Grimes, I was young enough, I was still kind of cocky and lippy to him, but I knew how bad he really was. And I'm like, I'll challenge you to a foot race. He's like, let's race. We'll do a foot race like 40, 50 yards. And he's like, whoever loses got to drive back to, where we worked. We took off, and he beat me by 10 feet. Like, blew my... He is quick, dude.
He is...
For a
it's
big dude, it
mind-boggling.
is.
Yeah. And we played him in junior high football. And I was a D-back that weighed... Well, 7th grade I weighed 70 pounds. 8th grade I weighed 80 pounds. And I came up and met him at the line. He was their running back. Freaking horde.
I believe it.
And I made the tackle, but I don't remember any of the rest of the game. That was concussion number 1, was Barry Koster. Everybody's like slapping my head. Yeah, good hit. I'm like, what happened? I had no
I
clue.
got into the way.
Dude was freakish strong, though.
Jesus.
Freakish.
He's just one of those guys that you look at him and you're like, he ain't shit. Until you see him in action.
And he'll take you and your 5 buddies.
He's a freaking specimen. It's unbelievable. They don't make many people like that.
Good dude, too,
Yeah.
though.
Yes, luckily. Luckily, he's a very good dude.
Right.
Because he could wreck. All right. Effects on YouTube videos on fishing spots.
I'm not local enough that I don't recognize any places anyway, but I hear some of the YouTubers I watch down in Tennessee or whatever, same thing on the river, that they wait sometimes a couple weeks before they even release them. Right?
I see a lot of people getting discouraged about it, but It's public water.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
What are
have
you gonna do? You don't
no
own
right to say anything to anybody.
Right.
I have
It's-
just as much right as you do to fish.
It's not
there.
much different than what I just said. I drove by the lake and I seen 8 people around a certain area fishing.
Good
Am
chance.
I gonna
Yeah.
go? Am I gonna go throw a line in? More than likely, here, you know.
That's right.
You should.
Right.
It's that time of the year. You should. Yeah.
I'm with Joey. I mean, it's public. It is what it is. You're choosing to put that out online. It's pretty much free game. So
I personally like it because I've seen from when I started fishing, which seemed like everybody used to like bank fishing, and now you hardly see it. So I'd like to see this younger generation. I like seeing kids out next to water.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yes.
with the way technology is, it really brings a different feel when you get to watch somebody else fishing, and if you do recognize it or if you don't, it still will maybe help them go, oh, I should go out and try some fishing.
I guess
I
look
like
at
it.
I look at it more that I don't necessarily want to go hit that spot, but I look at the conditions of the spot and try to find my own spots.
Try to replicate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the information I take from the videos is, hey, they got a break right here. That's what they're fishing right there. And, hey, I got something kind of similar to that where I usually go.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the spot I'm missing right now.
My kind of input on it is if you see a spot in a video that you recognize, you've already been there.
Sure.
You know, maybe you haven't fished at that exact situation or that exact spot, but
Or time.
there's not people from Tennessee going to know my Raccoon River spot by looking at it. The only way you know is if you've already been there. Right. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? And like you said, a lot of us, I don't because I don't have any content built up. But as soon as I do, we'll save videos because, you know, like that Channel Cat spot is hot for the next month.
Yeah.
It is hot. And then it will just dry up.
But why not?
They'll go back
Yeah,
in the
why
lake.
not get good content for your videos?
I'm so new at it that I haven't built anything up. Now, am I going to drop one of my flathead videos and ruin one of my guidance spots? No, that's not going to happen. You know, it's a different scenario ice out channel catting than it is a good flathead spot. So I try not to show any landmarks and shit, but I'm so new at it. Everybody in the world knows where my channel cat spot was. If you've been there, you know where it's at. That's it. You know, I showed every landmark that you could possibly see on there. And it's a good spot. If you know it, go. In the next month, you're going to catch channel cat. After that, they're going to go back in the lake. And
Crappies and walleyes will be moving on.
Right. I was gonna say one of my channel cat spots. Joby floated by me one time.
did you throw a sinker at him? No. I would have.
It would have been awesome.
I go, look at all those floats. They match. Everything's so fancy.
He's a fishing diva.
Personally, I like it because whether it's a spot that somebody wants to keep sacred, some spots that we go to, everybody and their dog knows where it's at.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not like it's your secret.
And it amazes me that spots like that still produce fish year after year after year. It amazes me.
They
it
hit the spots.
freaking amazes me.
Yep.
Look where they come from.
I know, but it's just crazy that fish just keep pooling into that spot when it's shoulder to shoulder people for 7 months of the year. It's crazy.
But I also like it too. I want you to show me that video. I like seeing you guys get excited or you take a group out and you guys catch fish, whether it's a landmark that somebody notices or not.
Absolutely.
There's something that I could either learn or watch. I love watching my buddies on YouTube. Like, that's the only thing I watch anymore.
Well,
I got to catch up on all my YouTube videos of all my buddies posting fishing things.
I like watching Ryan miss them because I was like, it's not just me.
And that's why I leave those in.
But I fished with him enough, I know. But at the same time, it's like, yep, I am a normal person. I miss him just like Ryan.
But if people didn't get so prejudiced on certain spots that are easy accessible, not only is it just content for you, but there's a lot of people don't realize you can learn something off a video.
Yes.
Just as I'd rather watch it than somebody try to tell me, because I could have all my buddies tell me stories and be like, oh, whatever.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's, to me, if I was you, I would keep making your content because I love watching it. You're always going to have haters, and no matter what you do or get mad about certain
and
spots.
luckily I'm so small I don't. Everything I've received so far has been 100% positive, and I appreciate it. I thank everybody who reaches out. And if you guys want to shoot me a comment, a question, whatever you want, if you just want to shoot the shit, taslerryan@hotmail.com.
Need to have that go across the bottom of the video.
Who has Hotmail?
That would take technology, and I got none of that.
That's how old that email address is. It's Hotmail.
That's right. That was my when I started teaching. That was my first email.
Let's all get along. I love meeting new people along the river or out on the river. It's like we're doing the same thing.
Yes.
Let's have a good time with it.
Yeah.
So what's your take on all this then? How do you feel about it?
Well,
obviously it's bothering you some way.
I feel bad for other people. I don't feel bad that, that channel cat spot I fish, I don't feel bad if I go there next time and there's 3 people there, because there normally is anyway.
It's that way?
It's that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Because truthfully, there's normally people there. Like
every time I've been there.
I think Billy was there the first time I pulled up there. He was fishing off the bridge.
With his old lady.
No, it's him and a couple dudes.
Oh, what?
Maybe he swings that way. I don't know.
No. Since he dissed us on this podcast, he was supposed to show up.
Whoa.
Frickin' Billy. So a spot like that's a known year after year spring spot to fish for every species. I caught probably a half dozen yellow bass on nightcrawler. I threw out nightcrawler and cut bait. I just kept catching yellow bass.
See, that's what people need to look at it like. You can go to that same spot and do the same thing. Why get mad about somebody doing a video that they're trying to do as a side job, hobby, business?
I agree.
And post a video about it.
That day I went there was 2 groups on the other side of the bridge. There was a group on the bridge, and then I went to the
little knoll,
and I was the only one that caught fish out of all 3 groups. I stacked 8.
That's why they're angry. Man.
I stacked 8 of them up, and they're just looking at me like, you mother. And it was just because they were fishing too deep. That's all it was.
Sure.
The sun was out. It was warm. The mud was warming up. The fish moved shallower. If they'd have moved shallower, they'd have caught fish. Instead, they left.
But if they would have come over and asked, I guarantee you Ryan would have
There's
put
plenty
them
of
in a
room.
Position to let them
There's
catch
plenty
some
of room.
fish.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you see that shit on Spencer's videos when he's down in Des Moines and stuff, and people asking him questions. This is what I'm doing.
A lot of YouTubers will do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
We're providing a service, not only on YouTube, but as a fisherman. That's part of my teaching background, my guide background. I want people to be better.
Right.
And because the better you get, the more you're going to enjoy it.
Well,
and I want people to enjoy the outdoors.
That's 100% why I watch your videos and Spencer's videos. I gain knowledge from them. Like I said, I look at the areas that you're fishing and why you're fishing those areas and try to interpret that.
Yeah, and I have probably 30 questions a week on email or messenger or something, just asking about a certain scenario, and I answer every one I can. Right. I answer them truthfully. If I don't frickin' know, I'm like, well, I don't have any experience on that.
That simple comment about the water level change, the cliff.
Yeah.
That was a game changer.
I'm telling you.
But that's
sandbar drop-offs are the place to be.
That's where I set up my hooks, and yeah, I've had a lot more success going by that logic.
Yeah, you just find their kitchen where they're used to eating, and you put a bait there. Sooner or later, they're going to come eat.
Yep.
It's not really any drop off. You got to have some adjacent depth or kind of decent structure, something to hold the fish there. I've tried a lot of spots that had a drop.
Yeah, but you think
along the bank is a bunch of trees, and then I have a sandbar, and it goes from like 4 to 8 or 9 into those trees.
Yeah, see, that's a swivel hole.
Yeah, it's been dissected.
I look at every place I set up, and I try to make a road map in my mind. This is their daytime spot. This is where they're going to go hunt. This is where they're going to circle back through, because they're going to hunt until they eat. You know, that's how they live.
Yep.
You know, that's how they go to work. They punch in, they go eat, they go home.
So
I just want to be as close as I can to the first thing they see when they go to work.
You're pretty technical and looking at all the data and stuff. Do you write down dates, or
I do write down dates.
do you write down dates?
I do more specifically with my deer hunting.
Yeah.
Like what picture of buck I got, what moon phase it was, what was the temperature, was it frosty, or you know, there's a lot that I look into it. I don't know if my brain's gonna be knowledgeable enough to do on fishing.
Do you look back at it?
Oh, every time.
Yeah.
Like it's
Okay.
Like Spencer's made his own log on his phone, and he's just got boxes to check, like barometric pressure, flow, you know, everything.
Time of year.
And we're sitting on the sandbar, and that's when he fills it out.
Really?
When we've kicked back for the night, shooting the shit, he's over there while
I'm
we're
just
talking,
curious
and
if
just fills it
does
in.
it repeat? I mean, do you set your? I'm not asking about your big whitetails, but
Now,
fishing wise,
yes.
Circumstances.
Yes. Anything in nature follows a certain pattern, and certain conditions will bring a similar response as it did before.
Interesting.
that's even with deer hunting though.
Yeah, you could tell 2 weeks before it happens when you're going deer hunting.
I've killed 3 of my wall mounters on the 3rd weekend of October.
If the conditions
If they're
similar.
within
if they
5
meet.
degrees.
Really?
But usually I wait until a lot of the crop's gone, just because the deer got way more advantage to hide.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
And as soon as they get pushed out of them fields, then it's
Really?
like this last year. It was my first evening. I left work at 2:30, showered, and by 3:31 he was taking a dirt nap.
Nice.
Like
that was a good season.
like it bums you out
Say that,
though.
I was
Yeah,
going to say
Because
that would.
you're
that
all
would
the
actually-
preparation for months ahead of time, and you're done. It's
Yeah,
like,
that pissed me off. Actually,
but it also
I'd be
is
happy
a
you
huge
got the bug.
accomplishment too, because of the time that you put in, just like you would for
paid
a
off.
fly hunt.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like paying a plumber to come fix your house. You're not paying him for the hour that he's there. You're paying him for
get
everything
the
he's
job
learned.
done, right?
Yep.
Everything he's learned to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now what the hell am I going to do all hunting season? Doe
Oh,
tags.
I still ran trail cameras because I got another buddy I hunt with, so I try to keep him updated and let my uncle that lives down in Des Moines, hey, this is what I'm seeing. He ain't able
get
to
your
come
ass
back.
here next
Yep.
weekend.
Yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
So
set up,
I try to help out as
try to
much
set
as I
other
can
people up.
with
Sure.
other buddies with
Yeah.
a lot of info and stuff like that. But
Well, if it was the one I seen a picture of, then job well done.
I was hoping it'd be done because I wanted to bring him, but
Hell yeah.
he ain't done yet. Which is fine with me because within the next couple weeks he will be, and I should have all my jigs made. So I'm gonna hit reservoir down there by
Yeah.
New Sharon, which is a local big lake reservoir that comes out of the other one.
Yep.
And just work my way up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Make a day of
it's
it.
gonna be a fun. Got
Hell
a big deer in the back to make conversation, and hopefully some walleyes on a stringer.
Hell yes.
Damn right.
So.
Yeah. Makes a guy love the outdoors for sure.
It is crazy though. Like if you get a little, like I call it insane. If you want to pay attention to moon phases, temperature.
I listen to people that do. I never really have.
If you
much.
really dug into it, which it sounds like Spencer does, like
Mm-hmm.
what I do with my deer hunting, a lot of it will help.
Really,
yes.
it's
Like
all,
I said, Mother Nature reacts the similar ways in similar conditions. That's what they're programmed to do.
Like I said, I'm grab a case of beer and go hit the bank, and if they bite, they bite.
Fish as much as possible. That's the number one thing to catching fish.
I've obviously, just like everybody else, I've had good nights and I've had bad nights, and I've always wondered if I needed to maybe. It's not going to stop me from going out.
Yeah.
I mean,
if I got time, I'm out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I just curious if there's a rhyme to reason.
It's just like mushroom hunting. Everything could be absolutely perfect, and you won't find a frickin' one.
I hate that.
Everything else is the same thing. Conditions could be absolutely perfect. You go to a spot that you should dominate them, and you could not get a bite. That's why it's fishing.
Right.
Now, does that information help you? Absolutely. You have a free weekend in the middle of summer. No plans. You got a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are you going to do?
I'm going to hit my hunting hole.
You're going?
Yep.
You going to stay overnight? Or are you going to make trips back and forth?
Probably trips back and forth.
Yeah.
Just other obligations. But no, 100%. I'm putting the time in.
Hell yeah.
The good spot, and we'll see what happens. There's nothing else I'd rather do.
Yeah. That's your happy place. Yep. I get that.
I'm glad you brought that up, because with the couple buddies that go with me, that's all we talked about. Instead of doing a one-nighter, let's find a section of river, which we're going to hop from local to further east and try different rivers, different spots. But we're going to do probably a handful of weekend trips all weekend.
That is a thought.
I'm so stoked about it, because we've always done one-nighters, and you get up and you're like, oh, you're floating past some spots.
Right.
What around this next corner, if maybe the next night it was on fire, and it just drives me nuts.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm going to spend double the amount of time and try to figure out. I want to be able to catch a fish per weekend if I go. Last year struggled. I went a dozen times, overnighters, and 3 out of them dozen times I caught fish. So it was...
That's not bad odds, truthfully.
No. And that's what Billy that will be taking fishing, he's not had very good luck, which he don't have as much time into it as we have. And he gets so down on himself for not being able to find them.
It's not bass fishing.
No.
It's not crappie
green carp.
fishing.
I don't call them bass. They're green carp.
To your point, that has crossed my mind too. Is boy, it'd be nice just to do a day float. I've never done that.
Yeah.
But I don't fish out of the kayak very much. I usually find
Yeah,
sandbars.
in the day it's tough to fish off the sand and be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would
you
be
need
nice
to be in a
just
boat.
Be nice to cover some ground. I mean, that is attractive to me also.
Yeah.
But stay out there all weekend, find three different nights or 2 different nights to find a sandbar.
Oh, I can't wait. Like, when we go locally here, I only take just river setups. But if we go east and hit another river, I can bring my jigging rod and everything at the same
absolutely
time.
right.
So
Yep.
it gives me a little bit
Get on some
variety.
walleyes, some smallmouth, some wipers.
Yeah. I mean, there's about anything you could fish for in that river over there compared to the local one.
Yes.
They're here, but just not as
If I have
accessible.
3 days in a row that I can get away, I'm going somewhere I've never been before. I'm going to go learn something. I'm going to find a new spot. I'm going to try a different stretch that I've never done. Because if I have 2 hours before happy hour, I know where I'm going.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If I've got 3 days, I'm going to make an adventure out of it.
Yeah.
Explore.
That's
You know
what
what I mean?
want. That's what I want.
I'm going to live out of a freaking duffel bag on the top of my kayak or in my boat, and nobody's going to see me for 3 days. But I'm going to try and learn something that I don't know yet.
Which, that's where I think you learn more is out of your kayak than you would in a bigger riverboat. Because you can access more and get in certain spots easier and better.
Except mine. I can go in 4 inches of water with my boat. And it's so much faster from place to place.
4 inches. I got to pull mine across that till I get to deeper water with my kayak.
He weighs 80 pounds. So
Yeah, but he's got a big boat.
Yeah,
too.
you just got to keep it on plane. If you let off, then you're stuck.
Stuck. Like you and Spencer
Like-
that one time?
Like
I was gonna say I seen that
about
one
3 times.
Three
Yeah.
times? I remember watching the one video.
One time it took us like 2.5 hours to come along the boat off the sandbar.
Oh, were you guys dead?
It was horrible.
Come on, Spence.
Horrible. It was absolutely ridiculous. But it was something we can always talk about.
Spence, if I ever get to go fishing with you and Ryan, please don't let us get stuck.
He's come a long ways in his captain abilities.
Are you going to try to keep that if you do have a 3-dayer? Is it going to be locally or are you going to try to broaden out a little bit?
I'm going to get out. Yeah, I'm going to go somewhere else. I know the water here. I know the water kind of down there. I'm going to go somewhere I don't know. But I'm going to hit somewhere that I've never been. So there's stretches of river in Iowa that I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. So if I had 3 days, which I normally don't, but I'm going to make it a priority to have 3 days, and I'm going to go see some of the stretches I've been dreaming about,
Yeah, I'm excited about it because we're always normally going down the local river stretches that we know.
Yeah.
We're going to start west on these weekend trips and just we're going to hit this river.
just
or
play
creek,
by ear the
and
whole way.
What section we going to go?
You
It's
got it
just gonna
planned
be a
out
coin
ahead of time, or
not really. It's going to be kind of on the fly.
Which is fun.
This
Why?
looks
Which
good.
is fun. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you when you're talking about exploring and stuff. Are you're going somewhere?
Somewhere I've never been.
Never been.
Yep.
In state?
Yeah. Yeah. That way I can revisit it. If I learn something and I find a good spot, I can revisit it.
Maybe seen it from a vehicle, but that's about all he's seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Do you have any out-of-state trips?
Yeah. I'm going to go to Kansas a couple times this year. I'm going to go Spencer's actually down south. I was supposed to go down with him, but he went for 10 days, and I just couldn't swing that right now. I got 2 new houses going, so I couldn't get away for 10 days straight. But me and him are going to take some trips. We're going to go west a couple times, and then, I'll go south a couple times for sure.
Just all blues, or what are you going to go for down there?
Yeah, anytime I travel, it's because the flathead are spawning here, so the catch rate dramatically drops.
Yeah.
So then I go south and chase blues.
That'd be fun. That's another fish I want to get off my bucket list.
They're so much fun. Dude, talk
I wanna
about
do that
fun.
this weekend,
It's
bud.
kayak fishing blue cats. It's so much fun. You literally just get towed around. It's crazy.
I'll fight him with my trolling motor.
There you go.
No, they pull you to them, and then you pick them up.
So it kind of helps wearing them out then, too.
Yeah.
Like Jaws, hauling them barrels across the ocean.
I mean, there was trips where I caught 50-pound fish in 3 foot of water, and I was just chasing a mud swirl. It was just
That's all you could see, probably.
Yeah.
Hold on and enjoy the ride.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. I love it. There's something about tying into a big flathead on your kayak, tied to a log jam or something, but those blues got something else. Because even a 10-pound blue hits it like a 40-pound flathead. They just take a running start, and they just friggin' asshole it. It's crazy.
Oh, I need to go do it.
Yeah. So you're sitting there and you're just paddling. You go about 0.5 to 0.8, depending on conditions. And you're going one way, and you get a rod out the back that gets hit, and you just do a 360. And it just takes you. You're just off. Yeah. You're just along for the ride. Yeah.
So that's what you just troll for them most of the time?
Most of the time.
You cover a lot of ground that way, too.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
And if
Not
they're
everybody has a motor, so sometimes you're paddling.
normally
It
you
doesn't go
just
that.
go with the wind, or
Yeah,
it's
you either
a little
drift
bit
or
of paddle.
wind. Yeah, it's like you said, you want to go 0.5 to 0.8. That's not very fast. And then, and if you don't have a fish finder, it's hard to replicate that. You almost have to have a fish finder to drift or to troll.
Just for your speed?
Just
for
to watch it, yeah.
Yep. Just for speed. All right, guys, let's kind of wrap it up. We always do the last cast. So last cast is anything that you want to revisit, anything that we talked about before, anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about, anything that you just want to mention? Joby, start us off.
I got something for your audience. I got a local buddy that stocked his pond, and I would like to know what kind of growth rate they got brought in the springtime last year.
So they've been almost a year.
Yep, and we went ice fishing for them, and from the size that got put in to the fish that we caught, they put on 2 to 3 inches.
Which you're talking like 6-inch fish or now 9-inch fish.
Yes. Is that feasible? Is it logical?
It's like a 50% growth rate in
it sounds pretty damn
6
good to
months.
me.
Right. That's kind of why I ran the question by you.
Yeah, and I don't have any experience in that.
So hopefully somebody in this awesome audience that's watching this can kind of put some info and let Ryan know, and we'll be able to.
Yeah, and there's, I do know some fish biologists that I'm gonna run it by and see if that's possible, or if somebody else threw some fish in there that were just a larger class.
Right. The local guy that did it wasn't aware of anybody else throwing any other fish in there, so I was curious to see what kind of. Granted, that's the only fish that are in there. This pond was established a year before anything got thrown in, just to see if it was going to be, if it would drain out, or we had a hard last 2 summers to where water level.
Yeah, and you said it was 10 foot deep. So if it's 10 foot deep
this winter,
hell, it could be a 15-foot pond pretty easy.
But there's the vegetation from the underwater cameras, like everything was still green. It was all standing. Even some froze up into the ice. So I'm curious to see if anybody can give me some intel on it, what they think, if somebody else threw other fish in there, or did these fish just...
It seems like an awful large growth.
Yes.
What I've read
the
about,
body mass was affiliated with the length. So, I mean, it was...
It's not like they were just gorged.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was mind-blowing. Like, I was excited because I get to go fishing there whenever I want.
That's where my follow-up was going to be. I want Joby to tell me where this friend's pond is.
But if anybody's got any info on it, on fish growth in a private pond, yearly established, what's their kind of growth rate? Is there anything that'll happen to them? Will they boom up? Will they stun out? Let me know.
Yeah. Get a hold of us, and because I have zero experience with that. I've never stocked ponds. The only thing I use ponds for is pretty much catching bait.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
And also, if you have any bullhead or green sunfish ponds, let a guy know.
Yeah, right.
I will travel.
I guess you would think the initial, all the vegetation and stuff, initially when you put fish in there, that it would be the best.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be the
Being
best.
yearly, a year established, it had all, bug life to get into it, frogs, whatever else to get.
I wouldn't see that growth being able to maintain, but I think initially that maybe it was.
But that's impressive. Like 50% of their body.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy if that is actually what happened.
Somebody let me know.
What are we doing right?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Not nothing big. It was a pleasure. I've heard about the legend Joby for years. It's great to get to know him a little bit and chat with him.
Mostly on the STD post.
Maybe cut a couple jokes towards his way. But
it's all good. I like it.
No, like I said, a lot of common interests here, and this is the position I get myself in when Ryan texts me at 9:00 at night, and I had a couple of sodas in me. But
it's a good position to be in, though.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Good time.
Definitely, maybe something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but at the same time, we all got common interests, and I loved it. Looking forward to the month ahead and see what between the mushrooms and the channel cats and. See what happens. Hopefully, I can snag a little.
Please,
yes.
Yeah. Hopefully,
Act
I can
your
snag
freaking age, Mother Nature.
I will
grow up.
I will definitely let you guys know if I'm able to snag a blue cat this weekend. So
Heck yeah! I'm looking forward to pictures.
Will be my first wet lines of the year. So
I always know when John does good because my phone blows up.
You're goddamn right.
I'm like, yes.
I have no friends.
He got him.
Except for Ryan. So
It's nice having those few buddies though, because
Yes.
they will keep you posted the whole time.
He does a good job.
Yep.
So, like you said, I'm usually pretty buried in my work, but when I get out, I like to validate myself with showing the buddies what I do.
Hell yeah.
So,
It's been a pleasure, and I'm glad to meet you too. I've been fortunate enough to be on here a couple times with this bullshitter, but
right?
I think he just tries to dig info out of me so it makes him
Oh yeah.
better.
Oh yeah.
Well,
But
you can learn from anybody, even if they're full of shit like Joby.
I get the pleasure out of it because it's not only watching your guys' videos, the knowledge I can get, having this camaraderie in between all of it is
Absolutely.
amazing to have. It's hard to find friends like that anymore, to be honest.
And that's why I love this podcast. You know, we call it a podcast, but it's just us sitting around drinking beer, talking fishing. You know, that's why I enjoy so much about it. You know, giving each other shit just like we would if we're sitting on the damn riverbank.
Right.
You know, and we call it a podcast, and people listen to it, and which is awesome. But I'd be doing this shit
If we didn't have all this.
If we didn't have all this, we'd be doing the same thing.
Well, that's one of the main things why I was like, yeah, no problems. Is I sat on the riverbank with you, and that's all we do.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same conversation.
Same thing, but we're just depressed sitting around a table.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we
Getting excited for the season.
put it this way: last time I sat with him, we caught about as many fish as we did right here. So,
We did.
Yeah, we all go through that.
You call yourself a guide? You kidding me?
I got money on this shit, so he better guide up.
If I got one trip in me all summer, it better be May 24th.
24th. Oh, man. I can't wait. I'm stoked.
Dude, me too. I hope I get you guys on a good one. Just, you know, because, you know, I enjoy the competition that you guys have going on. You know, that to me is fun. That's exciting. That when you have buddies that you can, like I said, I don't care if I'm playing my best friend checkers. I want to freaking win.
Well, at the end of the day, you kind of have your own competition going on too.
That's-
Spencer's taking the other.
That's
group.
where I strive more, not between me and my buddies. I want to be able to talk shit between both of them. That's where I want this to go.
River certified.
Right.
We've got like 3 dates lined up this summer like that. Like, we're going to take a bachelor party with 2 different boats. And then we're going to take, he's taking the kids and I'm taking the dads. And we're going out on a competition. And then another one, he's taking the guy during the day. And then I'm taking the guy and his brother at night. So we got like 4 different deals this summer.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's gonna be a good time. Yeah.
Spencer might have one up on you with the kids, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But the worst
But if he loses the other 3, I'm fine with that.
But the worst part about it is, you know, he's guiding days, I'm guiding nights. We never get time to fish together hardly anymore at all. Which sucks, because I enjoy fishing with him. It's a good time.
I love watching those
You know?
videos.
Yeah.
Which he is going to tournament fish this summer. So that's going to take a lot of his time up. He's
Really?
going to be traveling quite a bit. You know, and that's part of the reason he's doing a 10-day is because it's going to be in similar conditions.
Pre-fish, right?
Well, it's not the same area, but it's similar conditions to his next tournament. So he wants to hit several different, you know, circumstances.
He ain't got no time for his friends no more?
Evidently, he's getting big time.
He is so driven, you know, that once he accomplishes one thing, it's almost like he forgets about it and he's already on to the next. You know what I mean? Which is awesome because that's how you succeed.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for him, and I can't wait to see how much better of a fisherman he is by the end of the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Just by the drive these tournaments are going to bring. It's going to take him to a new level. It really is.
He's going to have the notepad out with boxes. Check, check, check.
Yep.
Straight up.
So I'm happy for the dude. I'm glad he got out for the next 10 days, and he's got a lot of big things on the table that he's going through the punch list. So it's going to be awesome. But my last cast, I just want to thank you guys. You know, John,
You bet.
we talked. We haven't sat down and talked and fished or bullshitted for quite a while. So
Right.
we need to get that out of the way and start doing that more often. You know, Job, I talked to you quite a bit. We still haven't fished much, but you know, I enjoy talking to both you guys. I enjoy fishing with both of you guys. So I'm looking forward to this spring and summer getting together and having some good times. Thank you guys, everybody that's still listening. You must not have much to do, but but I appreciate it. If you enjoyed yourself, like and subscribe. Tasler Guide Service. We're growing slowly. I'm trying to get better. Me and technology are kind of arch enemies, but I'm trying to win her over a little bit. We'll get through it and hopefully put out some better content for you. I had a blast, and hopefully you have a blast watching. So we will see you next week. The week after that, we'll do another podcast.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.